It took white people to mistreat us. It took white people to exclude us before we would do something for ourselves. I need y'all to understand something, because everywhere I go, black people say, Dr. Umar, why we don't have a Tulsa today when we have 20 times more money now than we had then? No Tulsa, no Rosewood, no Charleston, even though you got 20 times the money. You know why? White racism gave birth to Tulsa. White racism gave birth to Wilmington, because you couldn't live with them. You couldn't send your children to their schools. You couldn't stay at their hotels. Now, this is important because a lot of you say you didn't come from Africa. That's the new self-hate fad in the black community, right? But they had the Free African Society, a self-help movement exclusively for black people more than 100 years before Marcus Garvey.
Hello everyone, welcome to AfriVlog Updates, where truth is not just told, it's unveiled. No filters, no sugarcoating, no distractions, just raw, uncut reality from the streets to the seats of power. If you are ready to see the world as it is, not as they want you to believe, you are in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and stay informed. We deeply respect and acknowledge every creator whose work is featured here. Your voice matters and your presence is recognized. This is AfriVlog Updates. Today, we are diving into a bold and necessary conversation, one inspired by the powerful and often controversial words of Dr. Umar Johnson. Many of you may have heard him say something like, "Everywhere I go, black people ask me, Dr. Umar, why don't we have a Tulsa today?" And that question hits deep. He's referring to Tulsa, Oklahoma, home of the original Black Wall Street. A thriving black community in the early 1900s, black-owned banks, schools, hospitals, businesses. But we all know what happened. It was destroyed. And what he's really asking is, why haven't we rebuilt? Why is the unity we once had so rare today? Dr. Umar doesn't just point fingers, he challenges us. He talks about mental slavery, the psychological chains that keep us divided. He talks about economic disunity, about how we circulate our money outside our community instead of within. He reminds us that freedom is not just political, it's mental, economic, and cultural. Today, I want us to reflect. Not just on Dr. Umar's passion, but on the truth beneath his message. Do we really understand who we are as a people? Are we teaching our children their true history, not just of struggle, but of excellence? Are we building institutions of our own, schools, clinics, banks, businesses? This isn't just about Dr. Umar Johnson. It's about Black awakening. It's about realizing that no savior is coming. We are the solution. We are the builders of the next Tulsa, the next revolution in thought, pride, and progress. So today, let's talk. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's respectfully debate. Let's share ideas. Because if we don't awaken ourselves, who will? This is AfriVlog. Please stay tuned to this channel. Thank you to all viewers who are here. Thanks for your support, and you find our videos resonate with you, please subscribe for more interesting videos from AfriVlog Updates. Let's watch this and I'll be back shortly.
So the AMEs got that history, brothers and sisters. And I need y'all to understand that for our first 200 years in America, for those of us who came on the ships, because I certainly did, we called ourselves Africans. The African Free School. All the churches was African. All the organizations was African. They didn't call themselves Native Americans. They didn't call themselves indigenous and aboriginals. They called themselves Africans. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to talk about 4 things tonight: education, economics, politics, and black love. Let's start with education, because we got a lot of parents in here. I got 2 phone calls this week from black mothers whose black sons were expelled from school for threatening harm that they had no way of carrying out. One of them was a preschooler, and the other one was a third grader. The preschooler told the teacher he was going to shoot her. He don't have no gun, can't even hold the gun. But because he's black and the teacher was white, for making a threat, he got expelled. The third grader said he was going to blow up the school because he was angry. No gun, no access to one. Parents probably don't even own a gun, but because he made the verbal threat, he got expelled from school for the rest of his childhood. Oh yes. Black preschool boys lead the nation. They're the fastest growing group of expelled children. I'm gonna say that again. Black preschool boys, 3, 4, 5 years old, are the fastest growing expulsion population in America. So my first lesson, I want every parent to hear me, mother, father, auntie, uncle, because we're all parents. In African culture, the children belong to the village, not the parents. The child comes through you. The child don't belong to you. I need us to get this because black people love to be private about their personal psychopathology. Black people love to be private about your personal psychopathology. What do you mean by that, Dr. Umar? I mean, if your daughter is a sex abuse survivor, you think you have a right to tell the neighborhood it's none of their business. If your son is out here robbing and killing for money, you think you have a right to tell the rest of the community it's none of their business. If you're keeping your children home, not sending them to school, and not even bothering to homeschool them, you think you have a right to tell the rest of us it's none of our business. It is all of our business. Why? Why is what goes on in your home important to everybody else in this auditorium? You know why? Because personal family problems become community crises. Did you hear what I just said? Personal family problems become community crises. Every brother in Baltimore right now, stealing and killing, his issues started in his house. And the parents decided to keep it a secret. But once those children turn 18, 19, and 20, it's no longer a personal family issue. It's a community crisis. And that's why we have an African proverb that says the destruction of a nation begins in the homes of its people. I'm gonna tell y'all the solution right now. Whether we talking economics, family, spirituality, politics, education, the solution, we have to get back to the village. We haven't operated as a village in more than 150 years. The closest we were to a village, the last time we did it right, was the civil rights era, the Black Panther, Black Power era of yesterday. That's the closest. But you know what's wrong with that analogy? It's the same thing that was wrong with the Black Wall Street analogy. The Tulsa, the Rosewood, the Wilmington. I just got an invitation today to go to Wilmington, North Carolina, because they're about to memorialize their Black Wall Street being destroyed. But you know what's wrong with those analogies? It took white people to mistreat us. It took white people to exclude us before we would do something for ourselves. I need y'all to understand something. Because everywhere I go, black people say, Dr. Umar, why we don't have a Tulsa today? When we have 20 times more money now than we had then. No Tulsa, no Rosewood, no Charleston, even though you got 20 times the money. You know why? White racism gave birth to Tulsa. White racism gave birth to Wilmington. Because you couldn't live with them. You couldn't send your children to their schools. You couldn't stay at their hotels. You couldn't eat at the restaurant. Necessity is the mother of invention. We needed a place of our own, and so we made it. But the white man knew something about us. He said, as successful as they are, they still have, Negroes in America still have, 403 years later, a need for approval from their oppressor. I want you to follow me, Baltimore. Are y'all feeling me tonight? Make some noise. Is Baltimore in here tonight? Is Black Baltimore in here tonight? The African American, if there is a such thing, is unique in revolutionary history. And the reason you are unique in revolutionary history is you are the only oppressed group to fight to defend their oppressor, but never fought the oppressor to get free himself. You are the reason he won the American Revolution. You are the reason he won the Civil War. You are the reason he won the War of 1812. You are the reason he won the Spanish-American War. No matter how poorly he treated you, you still found it within your heart to value his freedom more than your own. And so the world doesn't understand the American African because the world says, aren't you people worth $2 trillion a year? I mean, don't you single-handedly make entire companies into billion-dollar industries? Black women, I love you to death, but $30 billion on hair, nails, and beauty products, I think is a bit too much. Black women spend more money on hair and beauty than all other women put together. How do we explain that? Why does the black woman overspend on physical beauty? I'll tell you why. And we all know the answer. Because for 4 centuries, you've been told you were the ugliest thing on earth. And you've been trying to prove to yourself that what the white man has said about you ain't true. Well, I got news for you, black sister. Beauty has nothing to do with what you look like in that mirror. Beauty has everything to do with what you feel like inside. Any person who needs another race to validate your beauty will forever think they're unattractive. I was in Miami the other night on an interview for a podcast. And one of my Jamaican sisters, she asked the question. She said, I don't understand. This is night before last. I don't understand why you so worried about the little girls who are going to come to your school, how their hair are done. I don't know why you worried about whether or not your teachers, because I know a few sisters who might want to teach, but they're not going to wear that. And I told her, then they can't work here. This is a 100% nappy by nature institution. No weave, no perm, no European hair color, no straightening comb, no Indian hair, no horse hair, no dog hair. Only your hair. We are the first school in American history, and I'm proud to say it. We are the first school in American history, and I'm proud to say it. Yeah, we got African-centered charter schools, but none of them took the stand I'm taking. We got African-centered independent schools, but none of them took the stand that I'm taking. If your daughter can't come to class in the original image of the divine mother, if your daughter has to come to my school looking like anything other than what God made her to be, you need to find her another school building. Because the first thing I got to teach black girls at the Anna Douglas Amy Garvey Academy, the first thing I got to teach black girls is how to love themselves as they are. And how can a black woman be a teacher at the ADAG Academy of FDMG? How can a black woman be a teacher if I need the black girl to love herself as she is and she looking up at you with a blonde weave? Is that not a contradiction? Before I teach the black woman anything, I got to teach her to love herself. See, the white man has weaponized beauty against our sisters. And the white man has weaponized employment against our brothers. It is the black man's inability to earn. And it is the black woman's insecurity of appearance that are the primary weapons used in this country and around the world when it comes to black people. I don't care where I go at in the world, and I've been everywhere except Australia. There's four things I'm gonna see. If I'm in Paris, France, if I'm in Austria, if I'm in London, if I'm in South America, if I'm in Jamaica, if I'm in St. Thomas, St. Croix, Bahamas, Bermuda, wherever I've been, Canada, China, Japan, there's four things where black people are. And I need you to know this because sometimes we can think we're so unique in the world. Because you fail to understand that what racism does to any black group, they do it to all black groups. Number one, black women strung out on beauty products. I don't care where you go in the world, the black woman is overspending her disposable income to improve her self-concept of European beauty. I don't care where you go in the world, black men are over incarcerated because they can't find livable wage jobs. I don't care where you go, any black community on earth, I don't care if they speak Spanish, English, Portuguese, Zulu, Igbo. No matter where you go in the world, Jesus is still white. And you know what's funny? Or not so funny? The blacker the country, the whiter the Jesus. When did we get that painting that's so famous? The most famous version of the white Christ was Leonardo da Vinci, 1482. We're 500 years later, and the white Jesus is still the most popular picture in the black community. I go into homes and do therapy. And when I go into homes and do therapy, I'm always looking for the bookshelf. And you know what I find, Baltimore? And I've been in a lot of your homes too, just like Philly, just like New York, just like everywhere. I can count on one hand the amount of black homes I've been in that had a bookshelf. There's a laptop, there's tablets, there's cell phone, there's perm juice, there's Air Jordans, there's blunt wrappers, there's an HD TV, no books, but guess what's on the wall? White Jesus. Why is the white image of Christ so dangerous? We know Christ was an African. Christ was blue, black, purple. And if you don't believe me, go to Egypt, go to the British Museum, go to New York City, take a trip to the Vatican in Rome, and ask to see the statues of Jesus in the basement of the Vatican. And Jesus looks like you. Not Barack Obama, like you. Okay? Jesus Christ didn't look like an Arab. He looked like an African. In the oldest picture, I have a copy of him and the 12 disciples. Everybody's blue, black, purple, and nappy. So we know what color Jesus was. So why are black people so comfortable worshiping our deity in an image that resembles the enemy? Nobody else does that. In China, Jesus looks Chinese. I've been there. In Japan, Jesus looks Japanese. I've been there. But when I come to the black community, Jesus looks like the president. And the reason you're comfortable with your deity being represented by your enemy is because you are one and the same psychologically with your oppressor. We have internalized the racism. And until we admit we have internalized the racism, we will never fix this problem. Because we keep talking about the enemy outside of us, the enemy outside of me, the enemy outside of you. But I'm here to tell you right now, you can destroy racism in America all day long. But if the cracker that's written space in your mind is not done away with, he will just come back and reinvent himself through us. It's the internal white man that's our problem. It's the internal white woman that's our problem. Every black woman has a white girl inside of her. Every black man has a white boy inside of him. And until you admit that you have this spiritual cancer, you will never ever redeem yourself. And I'm here to tell you tonight, Baltimore, that one of the things we have to do as a people, and Pastor would agree, we have to reconnect, reassemble, remerge the color of our skin as an aspect of our divinity. I need you to hear me really well. And a lot of you are not going to understand it. It's going to go over your head because most of us have been raised on a steady diet of colorblind multiculturalism. Black people are the only colorblind people in the state of Maryland. The Chinese in Maryland are not colorblind. The East Indians in Maryland are not colorblind. The European Jews in Maryland are not colorblind. The Irish, the Italians, the Chinese, the only group in this country that practices multiculturalism is the American Negro. And the reason you are so multicultural has nothing to do with God, nothing to do with Christ. It's a self-hate thing that has you begging and wishing for approval from other races. You want to be validated. You want to be appreciated. You want to be needed. You want to belong. And you are willing to let your children be miseducated for it. You are willing to let your men be mass incarcerated for it. You are willing to let your black single mothers struggle and die, raising all them kids on their own, just so you can get a seat at your slave master's table. Until you kill the need to be approved of by white folks, don't you call yourself a devotee of Christ. Because if you need the white man's validation in order to feel whole, then the white man just became your God, not Christ. Listen, I am not a black supremacist. I do not teach that we are better than anybody. I have no need for a little white girl to believe she's less attractive than my black daughter. I have no need for a little Chinese boy to think he's inferior to our black sons. I have no need for that. But I do believe in the truth. And when I study spiritual history, I can't help but notice every prophet that God sent to this planet, every single one including Buddha, including Krishna. Every single prophet looked like me. So if I am not in some way a reflection of divine cosmic power, then who else could be? Brothers and sisters, the color of your skin is not a color, it is a chemical. And that chemical, that melanin that gives our skin the beautiful assortment of browns and golds that we have. This chemical is a God chemical. It is because you are melanated that you are able to experience spiritual ecstasies that no other group could even dream of. Stop taking your blackness out of your religion. Stop taking your blackness out of your spirituality. Stop taking your blackness out of your relationship with God. Do you not know when you don't give expression to the cosmic color of your skin? When you don't give expression to the cosmic color of your skin, when you don't say, I love being black. When you don't say, I appreciate the way God made me. When you don't say, no mistake was made when I was brought forth. If you can't say that, you're suppressing the active intelligence of divine design. Part of our solution as a race is we have to restore blackness to its proper place in the divine order. Isn't it funny? They tell us black is ugly, but every time you go to court, the judge got on a black robe. Isn't it funny? They tell you black is ugly, but when you graduate from high school, you got on a black robe. When you get your PhD, you got on a black robe. When you come to church, he has on a black robe. If black is so ugly, why are the most prestigious men in the world always draped in black before they come before the people? Blackness is divine. And until you stop cutting yourself off from your color, God will continue to cut himself off from us. You think it's a coincidence we on the bottom? You think it's a coincidence we on the bottom? Let me explain something to you, my Maryland family. We always talk about one God, and there is only one God. But guess what? If it is above as it is below, if it shall be below as it is above, if God is one, and God made us, and God made us first, if the purpose of life is to establish heaven on earth, if there's one God in heaven, all black people must become one to activate God consciousness on earth. The point that I'm making, the reason Baltimore suffers, and New York suffers, and Dallas suffers, and Oakland suffers, and Minneapolis and Memphis suffers, is because we don't operate as one yet. Until we achieve oneness. See, we love talking about one God, but when are we going to operate in oneness? When are we going to function in oneness? When are we going to unite in oneness? Many of you played sports as a child. All of you have belonged to an organization before. Have you ever noticed that if you belong to a church and you've been praying by yourself, when you link up with the rest of the congregation and everybody establishes oneness and y'all pray as a one, there's a different energy in that prayer. If you play football, when you get in the locker room with your team and y'all start chanting and getting hyped for the game, it's a different energy. For those of you who belong to the Divine Nine, Black Greek fraternities and sororities, Some of you join white ones because you hate yourself, but you know when it's time for the step show and all your Delta sisters walk in, all your AKA sisters walk in, all your SG Rose sisters walk in, all your Z5B sisters walk in, your Q brothers come in, your Kappa brothers come in, your Alpha and Sigma and Iota brothers come. When y'all come together as one and put all your petty stuff to the side and say, for this step show, for this conference, for this fundraiser, for this building fund, we're going to put all our differences to the side and operate as a single unit. There's a divine power that takes over. So if God can do that for a football team, if God can do that for a single church, if God can do that for your sorority or fraternity, imagine what God will do when all of Black Maryland decides to stand together as a single unit. Oneness is the goal. Some of y'all losing faith in the Most High God. I say, I've been praying, Doc, God ain't answered me yet. I've been on my knees every night, Dr. Umar. If there's a God, why God ain't answered me? Well, there's 3 answers to that. Answer number 1, God never responds to a dishonest petition. Some of us are asking for things we have no business wanting in the first place. Number 2, God doesn't respond to the selfish. If you've done nothing for nobody lately, why would the Creator do something for you? As above, so below. And the third reason many of our prayers never reach the gates of the Most High is because Black people, as much as we want to be free, as poorly as we have been treated, guess what? We still haven't learned that the white man's way ain't the right way. Some of you want to be free to imitate the white man. Some of you want to be free to become a Black capitalist instead of a white capitalist. In other words, God is not going to put us back on the throne as his original children. God will not put Black people back on the throne as his original children until you stop imitating your oppressor. Until you reclaim your God-given African divinity. As long as you want to imitate a defunct European capitalism, stop praying because you're wasting your time. You will never get that blessing until you decide to live and establish righteousness. See, we don't like to talk about righteousness, but God expects righteousness from Black people. And until God gets righteousness, I don't care what your religion is, Muslim, Christian, Hebrew, Jehovah's Witness, African traditionalism, Catholic, I don't care what path you take. Understand, you will not reach the goal unless you walk a path of righteousness. Yeah, we sin, but get back up and do it right the next time. You so used to cheating and sneaking that you think you can cheat and sneak the Lord. It ain't gonna work that way, brothers and sisters. Do it right or don't do it at all. Let's talk about this miseducation machine. Parents, listen to me. ADHD is a scam. ADHD is a fraud. ADHD is a Wall Street drug hustle. We get attention deficit disorder in 1980. The American Psychiatric Association was paid by the drug companies to create something that don't even exist. Attention deficit disorder. 7 years later, in 1987, they added the holy H, and ADD became ADHD. Why did they add the H? Because there's no drug that can make your child pay attention. There's no drug that can make your child pay attention. Ritalin can't make them pay attention. Adderall can't make them pay attention. Metadate can't make them pay attention. Concerta can't make them pay attention. So the drug companies were losing money on the ADD. The only thing the drugs can do is slow down the brain. So they said, we're going to have to make all the kids hyperactive, even if they're not, to justify medication. And why did they give us ADD in 1980? Because that's the same year the CIA dropped off crack cocaine in the black community. They started drugging the children and drugging the adults the same year. And I'm going to tell you a little secret, Baltimore County, but you're not going to listen. Because I've learned black parents don't listen to black psychologists unless you can find a white one to say the same thing. You know how many black parents I told to do things a certain way, but because the white folks said do it another way, they went with the white folks. And then they come back to me later. Dr. Umar, will you help me now? No, I won't. Because I already told you what to do, but you took them over me, so stay with them. Listen, if you don't plan on medicating your child, there's no reason to get an ADHD evaluation. Let me say it again. If you don't plan on giving your child Ritalin, which is synthesized cocaine, if you don't plan on giving your child Concerta, which is synthesized cocaine, if you don't plan on giving your child Metadate, synthesized cocaine, then why get him evaluated in the first place? Let me tell you what's going to happen if you get your child evaluated. The evaluation is the hook that forces the dope. Let me say it again. The evaluation is the hook that forces the dope. See, before you let your son get tested at We Hate Black People Charter School, Baltimore, Maryland, We Hate Black Boys Middle School, Baltimore, Maryland, We Can't Stand Black Girls High School, Baltimore, Maryland. Before you got him tested, the school couldn't force no dope. But the minute you go to the psychiatrist, psychologist, and get him diagnosed, now he has a psychiatric illness. And although you can't see ADHD, can't smell ADHD, ain't no blood test for ADHD, ain't no urine sample for ADHD, ain't no x-ray for ADHD, ain't no MRI for ADHD. Even though you can't see it, touch it, take a picture of it, smell it, or weigh it, they will treat it like a real disease. And when you tell the teacher, I'm not putting my son on that medicine because I saw what it did to my other child, they're going to call Baltimore County Child Protective Services. And Child Protective Services is going to send a social worker out to your house. And you're going to start saying, I should have listened to Dr. Umar when he was at Empowerment Temple. Because guess what they're going to tell you? You are going to give that child medication. And you're going to give them the dosage that the doctor prescribed. And if we find out that you're withholding the medication, we're going to come back and charge you with medical neglect. And when you get charged with medical neglect, Black Maryland parents, they don't just take Raheem out your house. They take all your children out your house. So you had 4 babies. Now you have 0. Because you let Raheem get tested when Dr. Umar said don't do it. And once he get tested, they can now force the meds because he has a quote unquote invisible illness. And then when you don't medicate, they can confiscate the kids. When you don't medicate, they can confiscate the kids. And guess who they're going to send all your black children to? The white rainbow community. No disrespect. Your identity is your business. But guess what? Most of us would rather not raise our children that way. But when you don't give them the ADHD medication, they're going to take your children and send them to a white rainbow family. You don't believe me? Go do your research. What group of people is most likely to end up with young fostered children? White homosexuals and lesbians. Go do the research. They're the ones raising our children. I just read an article last week. A rainbow couple was foster parenting 2 or 3 black kids. They sexually abused them. I'm not going to say everybody would do this, but it happened. They sexually abused both black boys, and then they sold them out to be raped by others. This was last week's news. And black people, before you start oohing and eyeing and acting like you care about black kids so much, if we love our own so much, can somebody tell me why black people have the lowest intra-rate foster care placement percentage? Do you know we're the least likely to foster our own black kids? And you wonder why they on the streets killing each other? How they gonna show love when they ain't ever felt love? Do you remember when you was a child, for those of you over 40? Remember if Mike's mom was out on the corner turning tricks, or if John's dad got locked up for selling bricks, your mama, your grandmama, somebody would go get the kids out the house. They didn't call DHS. They didn't call the social worker. They didn't call the police. They said, get your school books, get your clothes. I don't know where your mother at. I don't know when she coming back. I don't know where your father at. I don't know when he coming back. But I want you to know something right now. Until they come back, and if they never come back, you are part of my family now. How many of us was raised by black parents who refused to give up on children that they did not birth themselves? You know how many of us made it through life because another family cared? The school never knew. Your parents was nowhere around. When report card conferences came, Miss Nana stood in. When the school trip came up, Mr. Johnny paid for that school trip. And the white folks was like, when are we going to see their parents? They're working. We got this. And the next thing you know, you done graduated and nobody knew that you was without your biologicals for most of your life. When are we going to get back to the village, Black Baltimore? I know one thing. Children don't kill people who care about them. Children kill strangers. When I'm training teachers in the school, you know, the white teachers and some of the black coonish teachers. Most black teachers are wonderful, but some of them are some damn coons. And they say, Dr. Umar, what am I supposed to do? He's cursing me out. He's throwing the desk. Have you ever had a face-to-face, one-on-one meeting with that young man? But I don't really have time. I didn't ask you if you had time. You're complaining about how uncontrolled he is. Have you ever sat him down and had a respectable dialogue for 5 minutes? Did you ever make a connection with that boy? That's why it's so easy for him to disrespect you. That's why it's so easy for him to destroy your classroom, because there's no connection for respect. Let me tell you a little secret. If you take out 5 minutes of your day, sit down with that young man, give him an apple, give him a banana, and laugh and joke, ask him about his life, his home, tell him how much you believe in him, he may never get suspended another day in your class. But you know what the problem with public school in Baltimore is? Public school teachers think they're college professors now. What do I mean when I say public school teachers think they're college professors? For those of you who teach college, you understand that you're not expected to have a relationship with your college students. You're not expected to care personally about your college students. You're not expected to ask them about their home life. It's a business relationship. You pay for a class, I teach. If you don't like the way I teach, that's too bad. If you don't like how low my voice is, that's too bad. If I'm moving too quickly through the syllabus, that's too bad. But grade school is not supposed to be that way. In grade school, the teacher is supposed to cater to the needs of the child. They don't do that no more because they don't care about the black children. And guess what? Our black parents aren't too much different yourselves.
Before we close, I want to leave you with something deeper. Something that Dr. Umar Johnson has been saying for years and something that many still aren't ready to face. He tells us, racism isn't about hate. It's about control. It's about domination. It's about keeping an entire people from realizing their full power. It's not just about a look someone gave you or a word someone said. It's about who owns the schools your children go to. It's about who controls the banks, the jobs, the land, the law. It's about systems that were designed, not broken, but designed to keep us fighting each other, distracted and divided. Dr. Umar says, the greatest weapon the enemy has used is psychological warfare. Making you believe that your blackness is something to be ashamed of. Making you believe that unity is impossible. Making you believe you need them to save you. But we don't. We don't need saving. We need awakening. And the moment we understand that is the moment everything changes. The real question is, are we ready to build? Are we ready to invest in our children, not just with money, but with truth, with history, with purpose? Are we ready to stop begging others to value us and start valuing ourselves? Are we ready to wake up? Because truthfully, we don't lack talent. We don't lack brilliance. We lack structure. We lack unity. We lack commitment to each other. And that's what Dr. Umar keeps preaching. If we are not building schools for our children, we are failing them. If we are not circulating our dollar in our own community, we are giving our future away. If we are not calling out our own distractions, we are helping the system win. So let this be a message to all who hear this. Blackheart, wake up. Blackheart, build with your brothers and sisters. Blackheart, protect your children's minds. Blackheart, study your history. Blackheart, stand in your truth. As Dr. Umar says, if we knew who we were, we'd stop trying to be someone else. So don't sleep. Be the revolution. Not with violence, but with vision. Not with anger, but with action. Not tomorrow, but today. Medium dark skin tone fist sign, stay woke. Stay united. And never forget, black excellence isn't a dream. It's a decision.